Hey y'all, Rhonda here. Alright, we're back to our cardboard packing thingy-majigger. That's an official term. So we have picked out what we're going to do here with the envelopes going back and forth. We have picked out what we're going to do here, but I got to thinking we need to cover this first. So I went ahead and was looking through my scraps, and I found this paper, because this kind of goes along with some of the stuff we're using. This is one of Genevieve's papers. Excuse me. And so what I was thinking, because this isn't going to cover, when we put the envelopes on here, it's not going to cover all this, so a little bit of it's going to be seen. So instead of putting a piece here, a piece here, a piece here, actually it fit with a little bit of trimming. If I just take this and wrap it around, looky there. Pretty smart, huh? And I thought, well, that'd bring a little color in too. So what I did, because the paper's kind of thin, I just put score tape on the back of it. And you could use Mod Podge, you could use matte medium, you can use any of your glue, because a lot of it's going to be, covered with some embellishments. But I went ahead and just did it this way. So again, I'm going to cover this around here. Okay. And what I'll do is just peel the tape off one spot, line it up and press it down, and then continue to take the tape backing off. And so that way I can get it good and tight all the way around. And then, since this is going to be showing, and this is going to be the top, we're using our scraps. Got to use our scraps. So let's see here. I have this piece, and I have a little piece here that will fit. Of course, I'm going to ink this all up to give it a little definition, but that'll go right there. And then this is going to be covered up with, where is my, hello, oh, here's, I like to paper clip things together before I make the final decision, no matter what I'm doing, if it's a journal or a album or whatever. I like to go through and paper clip the decorative pages on, and then give it kind of one last flip through to make sure that's where I want everything. Because a few times I've kind of went, oh no, this pattern and this pattern were right next to each other, and that didn't work. So I was able to move things around and not panic because it wasn't glued down. But anyway, this is some envelopes here that we did last time. And what am I doing here? Oh, they're not all in there. Okay, so this is going to be down here, and then these are all going to flip open. Okay, and we'll cover this with something, or we may tuck that behind. No, because that won't make it. I'll have to trim it up some more, and then I'll have a little gap up here. So we'll just cover this with something. But this will flip up, and then we're going to have something else here. Okay. And then on this, I had a piece that actually was perfect because I had used a little bit of it for something else. And so all I had to do was trim it off here, but the width was just fine. But on this, we're going to embellish this, because this is going to be the front of our journal cover, journal thingy-majigger. More technical stuff. And so I went through, and like I said, we'll cover this after I get all this glued down. We'll start playing around, but I found some things that, could add a little bit of color, something like that. Have like a little slide that we can put some butterflies in, and use some vellum or some acetate. Like I said, just to add a little bit of color. So I just, like I said, just pulling stuff out. So let's get all this inked up, all this glued down. And like I said, we went over this last time. We went over this part, the envelopes that's going to fit here. We went over that last time. So let me get all this inked up and glued down. We'll do a little flip through of what we have so far, and then we'll start in on some more and hopefully get this finished pretty soon. Hey y'all, Rhonda here. I think we're going to finish this project up today. Remember we had the cardboard that came in some packing. And anyway, so this is what we have so far. I went ahead and covered the front. Okay, we're going to open it up, and I went ahead and covered this. Okay, and then covered this right here. All right, remember in the first video we decided what we were going to do here. So these are the envelopes. Okay, that flips up. We need to put a something in there, and then here's a pocket, and then we'll just left this blank, and then here's a pocket, and then we're going to put something over this back side. And then this we had talked about putting a little gusset over here and making a pocket here and here. Well, I forgot to do that, and then I ended up changing my mind. You know, we do that sometimes. So this is the excuse me, just the back of it. Okay, and then this is 2 pieces of dictionary paper glued together, because you know they're pretty thin. So what I did was I just folded it in half, and then, you know, of course it was too long, so I made a little hinge here and trimmed it up. So now we have a pocket here, and then we have 2 pockets here, one here and here. Okay, so all I did before I glued this together, you know, because like I said, it's folded over. Before I glued it together, I unfolded it, and then I took my X-Acto knife and made the little slits, and then I took my hole punch and punched right on the end, so that way they wouldn't tear anymore, or hopefully they wouldn't tear anymore. The only thing I forgot to do was you really need to put like washi tape or another piece of paper, excuse me, over this, you know, just a little strip, and then make your slit and your holes, so that way all this will be reinforced. Because with this excuse me, you know, with something going in and out all the time, you know, that's going to have a tendency to tear. So it's really best, like I said, to reinforce that with washi tape or just a thin strip of leftovers. I don't think I have any thin strips. These are bigger. But anyway, just a thin strip, you know, that goes over that, or washi tape. Then make your slit, then cut your holes. Okie doke. Alright, so there's that. And then this opens up, and I went ahead and covered this, just plain. This is some paper that I dyed with stain, with Tim Holtz Distress Stain. And then put a little piece right here to kind of finish it off. And then these were the envelopes that, you know, we had to decide how we were going to flip them and flop them. And I think it's actually supposed to be like that. So we still have to make something to go in here. I just stuck that in there so you could see. So we need to, this is an, you know, trash envelope. So we need to make something to go in there. And this is decoupaged. There's that. And then an envelope I made. And then here's an envelope, and I just covered the front of it with Genevieve, some of her printouts. And then open. Still have to do something with this. I was going to fold it over to make a pocket, and that's not going to work, so I got to trim that off. So we might stamp this. We'll see. And then there's this envelope. And then this one. We're going to cover these this right here, trim that off, and then this opens up, and that's where our journal's going to be. So what I did was started going through my scraps, and I did my measuring, which means just hold it up here and make little marks with my pencil and then cut it. That's usually how I measure. But this is a little journal that we're going to put in there. Let me put this to the side. And these are just scraps. This is actually packing paper that came in one of my packages from Amazon or somewhere, and it was a little thin, so I glued 2 sheets together. So this is all this is right here. And I thought instead of cutting it, we could make a pocket out of that. Okay. And then this is some, what are they called? Composition notebooks that I actually, the other side I actually sprayed. I know that looks like a murder scene right there, but we're going to decorate it. And then this, you can see that gold shimmer. This is Tattered Angels. And then this is what came through. So like I said, we're going to fix that. So don't worry. Don't be calling anybody. And then here is another piece of that packing paper. Dictionary page. That's actually 2 glued together. And this is a Linda Israel stencil that I laid down and sprayed with Tattered Angels. This may have been one of the mop-up pages. I think this was a mop-up page. So that's that, and then I sprayed just a little bit on the other side to give it some color. And then this is another one of my ink stain dyed papers, and then this one's an ink stained dyed paper. And that's that. Just something simple. And like I said, we can put a little, you know, some tuck spots and some little pretties in here. Let's see. And then on this side, like I said, that's another one. Instead of cutting it down, I just folded this over. We're going to make a pocket. So I thought I'd make a little cuff there. And we'll put some washi tape, or we'll do something and then glue that down. And then we'll sew all this together. And then, like I said, we'll decorate the front, so that'll lay in our little box. And then when you open all that up, and this is what you see. All right, let me grab a few more things and let's get this party going. Okie dokie. All right, so we need to do something with these little eyesores right here. And I kind of like the flowers peeking out, and I like this because it matches the sides and the back. So if we could do something right here. And I have some of the Tim Holtz washi tape, and I have another kind over there. So I thought maybe just a little strip here to cover that up, and we could even miter the corners. Don't tell me I'm having a hard time talking today. Man. All right. So we could miter the corners a little bit, and that'd give it a little more interest. So maybe something like that. And this side, pretty much all of it's going to have to be covered. So I have, you know, scraps that I had trimmed off from the little journal and other things. So if we had something like this, or maybe we could do a brown or a yellow. And I'm thinking maybe the yellow, so when this opens up, it'll match over here. And I know it's not about matching because it's a junk journal kind of thing. But when you open it up, you have this, this, and this. And maybe you want to add a little color, but I don't think that blue goes with it. And I have brown, but that's enough brown. I have, what is this? This was a piece of the packing paper, and then I just glued a dictionary page on it. I could use part of that. That wouldn't be bad. Alright, but I think I'm liking the yellow. Yeah, So we'll trim this up, and then what we can do is fold that back, my measuring, fold that back, and fold this one back. See where you're going to cut. So it's even with those. And then you still see just a tiny bit of that cover sheet there. So I think that's what we're going to do. Use this one over here. Plus that yellow looks good with that. So let's see. So I need to trim these off, and then this is a little bit long. So I need to trim that off, and then we'll glue these two things down, and that part will be done. So we'll just have to concentrate on the inside, and then we need to figure out what we're going to do on the outside to zhuzh it up a little bit. Alright, well, let me do these two things, and I will be right back. Okie doke. Alright, so I went ahead and put this piece down, and then I put this piece down, inked it up, and I was going to tell you guys, if you don't have one of these, you need to get one. This is a little We Are Memory Keepers, little tiny trimmer, just real simple, you know, real lightweight. So if you go on crops and stuff, you know, I know you need your big one, but this is really nice. I have this sitting, well, I have a spinner over here with my markers and my things that I use all the time, but I have this sitting over there all the time, and this is just the neatest little thing, just to trim, you know, like I trim this little piece off. Let me trim this. You know, like if you're doing pictures, matting pictures, if you're scrapbooking or making cards or really anything, you just line it up there however you want it, and it just cuts like butter. Look at that. And they come with replacement blades, and I think they're like $9 or $10. Anyway, I use this all the time, and I absolutely love it. Love it, love it. And you know how we're always inking stuff up, inking the edges, and we always use Vintage Photo or Walnut Stain. I have been using Aged Mahogany oxide, distressed oxide, or distress ink. Really, distress ink will be better, but Aged Mahogany, and that's what all these are. And it's still kind of that brown, rustic looking, but it gives it just a little extra oomph. So if you're looking for something a little different, Aged Mahogany. That's, like I said, I inked all the edges up with that. So anyway, there's my little tip for the day. Let's put this in there. I know this should, I did something wrong here, but because it should go back and forth, back and forth. But anyway, that's all right. Get in there. All right, so there's that. There's that we did. And we're going to have to make a closure, and then this is going to be the front of it. And I think we need to decorate the front of it and go from there. There's the back. And I put a little yellow strip there on the end. A little yellow strip on this end, like I said, to make it just all finished looking. So let's do something on the front. And I gathered a few things up, and like I said, it's not about cutting something out or going and searching through your dies or your, whatever you have. The pile you got sitting on your desk. I have drawers over here divided out. The top one is like little pieces that are ready to go, like things like this that I've cut out or, bought or whatever that are ready to go. And then my drawer below that are small things like this that just need to be trimmed up like this. Just the corners need to be trimmed off of it. And then my next drawers down are the bigger pages, or things like, my bigger scraps, things like this. or the envelopes. And then on down I have my full pages. And then I have another one of full pages that need to be cut. So anyway, it makes it easier for me to do it like that. Because I know, you know, and it's kind of fun digging through there. I know some people want it all organized, and I do too, but on one hand it is kind of fun to dig and see what you have and don't have and all that. Alright, let me get some of this out of the way. I did have, oh, that's, okay. These are from Genevieve, some of her printouts. And you cut this out, and it's like a little specimen thingy. Yeah, a specimen thingy. You know how they have the little plastic in there, and they have the specimen of whatever. And so I thought that would be fun, and you know, have maybe about a butterfly or a couple of butterflies in there. We could put that on the front. We could put it in a little tuck spot. And I have, instead of getting out something, you know, something new, here is a little plastic sleeve that an embosser came in. I did a little haul video yesterday, and this was one of the embossing folders. So I thought, well, we could cut this out and use it in there and put our butterflies or plants or whatever we're going to put in there. Remember, no dyes, no, just use what you have. Get rid of some of that stuff, but make pretty stuff. So there's that. This came out of a kit. You can actually pop these out. They're just barely hanging on. You can use your scissors or tear them out like that. So we may do something with this. Maybe make a pocket out of it, or yeah, something. And let's see, here's a tag. And I don't remember where this came from. And then this is Genevieve. There's a whole page of these in different colors. And like I said, I just have to cut the corners. And then here's a scrap. It was longer, and I used the other piece for something. We could cut a hole in there and put a reinforcer. So anyway, like I said, I just grabbed a few things, and we just need to start. You know, it's kind of like getting ready for a night out on the town. You know, you have your base, you know, your black pants, and do we want to wear, you know, this sequin top, or do we want to wear this or that? And then we have to try this purse and that purse, and this jewelry and that jewelry. So this is the same way. It's just your personal preference. Of course, all this needs to be inked up to match this. So there's something, and we can layer it. If we had our specimen frame done, that could go in there. Here's our tag that could tell about the specimen. It's a butterfly, an exotic butterfly from Madagascar. I don't know. I don't know. Here is, oh, flower. We could use that, ink that up. That'd be pretty with the aged mahogany. And you know, we could glue this down. You don't have to be able to pull it in and out if you don't want to. If you want to just put this down and leave it, or fill it up. I mean, it's your story, it's your project, it's whatever you want to do. But I'm kind of liking where that's going. And like I said, we'll have a butterfly in there, maybe two. Who knows? Maybe I'm feeling adventurous today. But after all this is inked up, but I still think we need a little color, a little something. There's some of my murder scene paper. Just kidding. And even if it's a little, you know, no, scrap paper, and then if you have a hole punch or circle punch or some kind of decorative punch, you know, punch it out and add that to it. We could stamp it. Hey, there we go. I have a decorative punch, and then we could stamp this. That's a thought. I'll have to go through some scraps here. Here's some of that Tim Holtz washi tape. That's still a little drab. Well, I'll do some more looking, but I kind of like where this is going. And then we'll have to punch a hole in this, remember, and ribbon or twine or something to keep this closed, because if not, it'll all, but we'll glue it down so it won't do that. But some sort of closure. All right, let me entertain you. Well, I can't sing, so all right, let me ink this up and maybe see if I can't find something with a little more color to add to the front of it. Okay, so I decided on this for sure. So I took my plastic that my embossing folder came in and cut the back side of it and just kind of sort of excuse me, measured it and glued one piece on the back side. Well, let me get you in frame here. I've got you scooted up close so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm not even where you can see. All right, so I glued one piece on the back. You can see it shiny there, and it doesn't matter if this is just perfectly square, just as long as the hole's covered up. Because I want, you know, I wanted to make sure that my butterfly was right in the middle. And I found a butterfly that's, you know, fairly bright. If I can get a hold of it. So what we can do is put glue on it, and then we know these two windows are going to match up, and we can just glue him down in the middle or wherever you want to put it, and then we'll put this other piece on top. So let's do that real quick. And I'm using art glitter glue because it dries really fast and dries clear. And no, it doesn't have glitter in it. That's just the brand name. So let's put this in the middle. Okay. And we need another piece. I mean, I guess you don't really have to, but you want it to look sort of kind of authentic. Okay. So here's my other piece that sort of kind of matches. And we can just glue it down there. Okay. And we're going to put a little bit of this goodness on there. God, I have to move this around and be able to see it because I don't know if I'm putting glue in the air or if I'm putting it on this, because it's hard to see. Okay. And we'll put this on top. Make sure it's kind of stretched out there and flat. Okay. And golly, stay in frame. All right, let's put a little glue around here. So we'll shut this up. And call it good with this one. Okay. Looky there. Just like a scientist. Now we have our specimen. And then we'll ink it up. Excuse my arm. Probably be best to let that dry first, because with that plastic it may slip around a little bit, but I'm feeling adventurous. And this is the aged mahogany. See how it gives it just a little little something extra there. Oh, it's just kind of cool. That's number 1. All right. So I wanted to do that with you. Like I said, I'm sure you probably know how to do it, but hey, there's a few out there that are just starting out and, you know, they don't know everything. Lord knows I don't know everything. All right, let me ink this other stuff up. I still haven't found something kind of bright to go on the front, but I'm kind of liking the layout that we were doing. So I need to ink this other stuff up, and we will start laying it down and gluing it down and get that done.